know, Russia keeps surprising me. When something atrocious happens, I say to myself, well, this is it. It can't get any worse. This is the bottom. This is the lowest of the low. And a little later, I think more atrocious happens. And it keeps on happening and happening and happening. I used to get upset quite a bit. My country, my people, I got disappointed, I got mad, I got hurt. And at this point, it's happened so many times that I am over it for the most part. Every time something unbelievable happens in Russia, now I usually laugh. Although most things aren't really laughing matters. I guess it's my way of self-defending and not going crazy. And, crazy things do happen in Russia every day. Well, this is Friday, and welcome to the Mad Circus News Update edition of Inside Russia. The best Russian news of the past week I present you. Let's go. Well, howdy everyone. My name is Konstantin. Welcome to Inside Russia. I give you latest news updates, and today, literally, latest news updates that I find very interesting, explanatory of the mad circus that's happening in Russia. What you will not find on this channel is, as usual, BS, propaganda, and lies. What you will find, truth, common sense, and logic, and emotions. Some emotions, because I am a human being. Inside Russia is where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. And for the first 30 or so minutes, I deliver a message of the day, a topic I find important. And today, it's not just one topic, but that's an array of messages, an array of news. And after that, I invite everyone to carry on to live stream chat where we converse and I try to answer questions. I like that very much. Everyone, thank you for coming today. Thank you for giving me a chance to share the news with you. And let's go. Are you ready? These news I'm gonna give, they aren't in alphabetical or chronological order. They're just the news that I find important or amusing, okay? Hopefully you will like them too. First news of the week comes from Moscow. I think it's pretty amusing news, but you decide for yourself how you like it. The CEO of the state-owned company called Industrial Automation, a fellow named Andrei Motorko, has been charged with fraud and arrested today. Well, according to the investigators, the company received financial aid of 400 million Russian rubles. That's roughly $5 million US from the Ministry of Industry and Trade for the development of brand new breakthrough antenna systems, a system for satellite communication stations used for the military purposes, of course. Industrial Automation delivered the order. Great. Fantastic engineers, fantastic company. It designed, built, and delivered the antenna system. Well, turns out not really. Turns out they didn't design anything. They just purchased the antenna system in China, pretending it was company's unique product and development. Andrei Motorko has managed to personally steal about 300 million rubles. That's a little under $4 million US from Russian government, Russian taxpayers. It is funny and amusing because it's not the first time it happens. It's like an epidemic currently happening inside Russia. Moving on. Interesting news just came out from Russian parliament, from one of the top senators, Sergei Mironov. In case you don't know who Sergei Mironov is, Mironov is the head of Russian political party called Fair Russia, the Patriots for the Truth. Fantastic name, isn't it? Well, he's really one of the top politicians. He's a heavyweight. Let me quote Mironov. "We are not waging any war. We are not at war with Ukraine. We are only liberating it from Nazism. But I repeat once again, this is not a war, but the liberation of Ukraine by military methods." Military methods. Wow. Liberating Ukraine, not war, but liberating to military methods. I wonder who this message was aimed at the Russian people or the Ukrainians? If he meant it for the Russian people, why doesn't he say that to the Ukrainians? That Russia is not waging war in Ukraine. It's liberating it by from Nazism by military methods. Perhaps Mironov is not informed, but Putin himself called this thing war. And the top propaganda people keep repeating it's war. Well, folks, I think I know the answer. I think that Mironov is not feeling that well. Perhaps he's feverish. Perhaps he needs to do a health checkup. Well, I can recommend a city in the Netherlands with excellent medical clinics. The city is called Hague. Perhaps Sergei Mironov should go and check it out. Talk to the local doctors, huh? Moving on. Amusing news keep coming from Rostov-on-Don. Rostov has been the source of many interesting news lately, and the city of Rostov-on-Don became famous in the last week. Just remember the mutiny and how Prigozhin and his troops, under 25,000, occupied and captured Rostov, and all the government officials fled Rostov in different directions. Well, we saw it with our own eyes. I saw it with our own eyes. People were streaming. People were sending videos, pictures, you name it. Prigozhin was taking pictures and making videos himself. He had Russian troll factory, farm. Pictures and videos, they don't lie, my friends. Well, the governor of Rostov region, province, he thinks of otherwise. Vasily Golubev, the governor, he today shared his information with the local reporters on what really happened in the city over the weekend, because we don't know. He knows. He told us what really happened. Apparently, his information differs quite a bit from what we saw with our own eyes. Let me quote Mr. Golubev. "All the officials worked in their places, and I constantly kept in touch with Russian President Putin and the leadership of the Ministry of Defense." Well, even Dmitry Peskov told us during the mutiny that Vladimir Putin could not be, he could not be found. It could not be identified where he was. And the leadership of Ministry of Defense, well, let me tell you, the office of Vladimir Golubev is about 1 kilometer from the HQ of Southern Command of Military of Defense. That place was captured by Prigozhin, and he was stationed there, and he captured 2 top Ministry of Defense military generals, 3-star generals, Deputy of Minister of Defense and Deputy Chief of Staff. They were captured 1 kilometer from Vasily Golubev's office. So perhaps Vasily Golubev, walked and talked to them while they were there, okay? Well, that he doesn't tell us. Rostov governor Vasily Golubev called the insinuations of the fighters of private military company Wagner, not so private, it turns out, they reporting themselves that they were in Rostov-on-Don. When they were in Rostov-on-Don, they were supported by the local residents. On that day, many photos and videos appeared on social networks all over, local residents taking pictures and communicating and cheering the Wagner troops. And yet, Vasily Golubev says, insinuations, fake, The head of the region also said that on June 24th, he did not communicate with Yevgeny Prigozhin. Oh, yes, he did. Now, I repeat, we saw things with our own eyes, but what do I know? What do you know? What do Russians know? Okay? Hey, that's evil Satanists Americans must have meddled with live streams and pictures coming out of the Rostov-on-Don on June 24th during the mutiny, from the city center. Must have been all computer graphics, CGI. They have Hollywood, after all. Way to go, Rostov governor. Way to go. Moving on. Good news, indeed. I'm not joking, no sarcasm. There's good news coming out for Russian military folks. Starting October 1st, 2023, the salaries of military contractors and conscripts of the Ministry of Defense, employees of Russia's National Guards, Rosgvardia, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, that's police, the Federal the jail service, customs officers and commanding staff their salaries will be increased by 10.5%. Woohoo! Good for them. Hey, that's no problem. Vladimir, we understand that the only tool you have left to make people continuing to be loyal to you is money. So you're trying to buy their loyalty. But this is what I don't understand. Why only 10.5%? Double their salaries. Double them. Triple them. We ordinary Russians will understand. Besides, no one is really asking us, although it's our money coming from our own pockets. Moving on. By the way, if you like these reports and if you'd like to support the channel, I wouldn't mind if you buy me a coffee or become a sponsor or Patreon of Inside Russia. Wouldn't mind at all. Thank you. Moving on. Last week's count of people who fell out of the windows in Moscow? 2. A son of an actor who used to criticize Vladimir Putin personally, and the vice president of a Russian bank. Moving on. Good news for Indian consumers and businesses. Truly, indeed, good news. No jokes, no sarcasm. After the introduction of Russian oil price cap or ceiling last December, the average price of Russian oil export fell to $51 American dollar per barrel. That has led to billions of dollars in savings for foreign buyers. India turned out to be one of the biggest beneficiaries of this situation. So far, India has saved about $3.6 billion thanks to the imports of cheaper Russian oil. Well, with friends like India and China, Russia does not really need any enemies. Moving on. Amusing news coming out of Russia about its natural gas extraction. I'll just give you a few numbers. I'll compare some periods of time. Natural gas production in Russia. From January to May of 2021, pre-war, 325 billion cubic meters of natural gas were extracted. From January to May 2023, this year, war raging, 233 billion cubic meters extracted of natural gas in Russia extracted. 325 versus 233. Minus 30% to Russia's overall natural gas production. That's Vladimir Putin's job, and all Russian citizens' silent approval. Moving on. Oh, Vlad the newsmaker. And what a news. My gosh. I quote Vladimir Putin. I don't have to come up with anything. Let me just quote the president. Private war company Wagner was financed by Russian federal budget. 86 billion rubles were spent since February 2022. 86 billion rubles were spent since February 2022. When I heard this news, I thought I was sleeping. I pinched myself. Because that's the very same man who, just before he invaded Ukraine, in mid-February of 2022, was meeting with Macron, the French president, and he was talking about Wagner Group. And he clearly said, and it's on camera, it's on video, it's everywhere in the news, you can't erase it, you cannot unsee it. He said, oh, Russian government has nothing to do with private military war company Wagner. That's a private company. It's financed through its own sources by providing services of military kind. And now, 15 months later, he comes out and says, by the way, Russian government financed Wagner 100%. 86 billion rubles were spent since February 2022. That's over $1 billion, by the way. That's out of our pockets. Excuse me, what? Private military company receives money from the state budget and not aid, but 100% the need in money? What? In a country where private military companies are illegal by law? Does the president of this country talk about this as the norm? I don't know what to say, folks. Moving on. Another newsmaker, Viktor Zolotov, the head of Russia's National Guard, the Rosgvardia. What a guy, what a guy. He used to be Putin's bodyguard. Let me quote Mr. Viktor Zolotov. This issue is very acute now. We don't have tanks and other heavy weapons. We will introduce them to the troops. Now, why would the National Guards need heavy armor? Russian army has heavy armor and everything that is needed. Isn't that enough? Well, for the country, that's enough. But for Putin, that's not enough anymore. At least he understands that now. After the mutiny, he is set to build his own private army to protect him personally. The Praetorians, Putin's Praetorians, Rosgvardia. Well, that, my friends, deserves a separate stream, okay? It's not tiny news. This thing is big. Streaming next week about that. But that's not all the news coming from Zolotov. Quite a brave man, I'm telling you. Viktor Zolotov. Gosh, let me take a sip of this wonderful English breakfast tea. Viktor Zolotov. I don't know, should I cry or should I laugh or what? Anyway, let me... Our brave man also noted, that the competent work of the Russian National Guard soldiers during the mutiny of June 24th. And he added that the department, the National Guards, interacted with KGB, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, and the Ministry of Emergency Situations. We saw the results of work that Rosgvardia did in Rostov-on-Don early morning on June 24th or 25th. They ran away and hid. And even Vladimir Putin was nowhere to be found. But Zolotov says otherwise. You know, Russian officials are so masterful at calling black white. You know, it's unbelievable. What a liar. Moving on. Well, there are some more news on the mutiny. Turns out we didn't know much. I mean, what did we know? We were just getting the news from the ground, from Rostov-on-Don, from pictures of how and videos of how Wagner soldiers was stationed, captured Rostov. We didn't see any propaganda. We didn't see any announcements on Russian TV about the mutiny. Nothing. Russian officials, Russian state was acting as if nothing extraordinary was happening. But we people, we knew. But turned out we didn't know much. Or stuff we knew was not true. I mean, what do we know? We're just tiny little people, that's all. Even things that we see with our own eyes, we nearsighted, you know, like something wrong with our eyes. We see different picture. We thought all government officials were hiding out during the mutiny. No, turns out we were wrong, and our eyes were just somehow messed up. Members of the government of the Russian Federation during the days of the attempted armed mutiny were at their workplaces and smoothly performed their working tasks. Russian Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin said at the first meeting with deputy prime ministers after the event of the mutiny. But someone again might say, but we saw it with our own eyes. They were nowhere to be found. They were not heard. We saw them hiding out and running away from Russia. Well, shut up. Evil Americans, Google, Hollywood. You know, all you saw was fake, CGI, was makeup, was make-believe. Listen and trust us. We won't lie to you. Yeah. Oh, and the last news for today. And this is something to cheer you up, folks. Today, Vladimir Putin instructed the government by August 1st of this year to identify the barriers that are preventing foreign investors and highly qualified specialists, professionals, from coming to Russia. To identify the barriers. Now, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen in the next 4 weeks. Lots of people will be doing lots of work, and that work mostly will be useless, but they will be working. They will spend countless hours, hundreds of hours, perhaps thousands, 10,000s of hours. There will be scores of people doing some kind of research, and they will come up with absolutely useless recommendations. Hey, Russian government, Vladimir Putin, you want to save some money? You want to save some time? I can identify the barriers that are preventing foreign investors from entering Russia right now. During the stream, I'm going to give it to you live, free of charge, you know, courtesy of Inside Russia. All you have to do is to order Russian troops to withdraw from Ukraine. You have to apologize to Ukrainians, beg for their forgiveness, perhaps on your knees, come up with the amount of money Russia is going to pay as retributions to Ukraine, and, you know, prove that Russia is peaceful and Russia is not going to invade any other countries, and most likely retire. And then about 10, 15, perhaps 20 years, when the world watches Russia under a microscope, and most likely in 20 years, you know, perhaps some investors, some foreign investors decide to go back to Russia. And that's very simple. That's all you need to do. So there you have it. I have identified the barriers that are preventing foreign investors from coming to Russia, bringing their money and spending, doing something useful in Russia. And my friends, that's about it. That's the funniest, not the funniest, but the most amusing and interesting news that I have come up with for Friday news update from Russia. Hope you liked them and found them interesting. I would like to answer your questions now. I invite everyone to carry on to live stream chat, which I'm about to turn on right now. And while I'm doing that, I'd like to ask you to help me out a little bit, to help me spread my message by making reposts in your social media accounts. That, believe it or not, helps a lot. And if you liked what you heard, like and subscribe to the channel so you get more news updates like this every single week on Friday. And on Saturday, there will be a stream for sponsors of this channel, private stream for sponsors and for patrons, where I share my personal news updates. And this is my way of thanking everyone who is sponsoring me and Inside Russia. And, it's my way of giving back, so to speak. So thank you so much. Let's turn it on. Folks, if you want to have me notice your messages and comments, please put them in caps and put Inside Russia after @ so they appear highlighted in orange. Kind of jumps right into my eyes. They jump right into my eyes. So thank you so much. Mods, great to see you. Thank you for coming back. Lorna Mommy, Blackad, Amir, Harry, Bob S. Howdy, friends. And if you're here for the first time on this channel, I want to let you know that we have the best mod team in the world at Inside Russia. And we also have the best community. Great to see usual suspects, everyone coming back and giving me a chance. And let's start with the comments and questions that are in caps or highlighted in orange. Hey Paul, fantastic to see you. Hope all is well. How did you make it back home and what's going on? Paul is the guy who actually came and visited me and us at Tashkent International Breakfast Club. Pleasure to have you. The usual suspects, Mr. Kaliskin from Chicago, Lord of Grape from Sweden, Dan Caldwell, howdy. Devil's Clutch, having a weak mental health day, so I need some not so bad news. Don't we all? Don't we all? Janet Murphy, thank you so much for support. There's no message, but your message is powerful enough. Thank you. And I start seeing the questions. Linda, thank you so much. Bob S. Chat would not start. How come? Marinos, howdy. Dan Caldwell, thank you for sponsoring 10 people. And from me and from 10 people, the lucky ones. Thank you, Dan. Fantastic to have you. Sam K has a question. Nope, not a question. It's a statement, and I thank you so much. I appreciate your wonderful words. Portland, Oregon in the house. Wanda, howdy. Sam Dog, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Pinnacle, never late to the party. You can go back and watch a little bit. Zurich, Rise Minister. Are you really a Rise Minister? What a mad circus in Russia. Susan, you don't even understand. I'm giving you this, I'm constrained by time, so I'm giving you like 1/100th of what's really happening. John Wakamatsu from Los Angeles. Buy some tea and like Russian crazy news. Thank you. Cheers to you. English breakfast. Ooh, so good. Vernon showers. All is fine in St. Petersburg, according to Dima. Well, good for Dima. Good for Dima, you know. I'm very glad that everything is well in St. Petersburg. And by the way, Yevgeny Prigozhin today, he's in St. Petersburg. I'm pretty sure he's making sure everything is fine in St. Petersburg. Yeah, I kid you not. He's back to Russia. He's between Moscow and St. Petersburg, and he's closing down his businesses today. So, have Dima say hi to him. Zubi, the research team should invest in a mirror on wheels and to present it to Putin as to why there are no foreign investors. That's a good one. I haven't thought of that, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that if they do that, that's spend lots of money on the way. That's going to be quite expensive mirror, like $10 million kind of mirror. Oh, of course, it would be ordered on AliExpress in China for like $2.99. But hey, it's Russian government for you. Amanda Rydnor. Our mod swat the trolls in seconds. Wait, did I say about... Did I say the news about Chevakov Wagner, that he was leaving Russia and closing down his troll factory? I made a community post on that. I should have made a news, but anyway. Just Terry, hey, a good one. I'm gonna give you an answer. Who do you think they're fooling? Okay. Well, I know who they're fooling, I don't think. They're fooling Russian people. And they're doing mighty powerful, great, masterful job at doing this. Dave Strains, thank you, howdy. And Dale Homestead, hello, hello. Ralph Waynard, howdy. Santa, I see that Russia evacuating area around nuclear power plant. Do you think they could blow the plant up? I don't know. I hope not. I pray not. That would be, like I said, every time I think, well, this is it. It cannot get any worse. It's the lowest of the lowest. Something happens that makes everything else looks like child's play. I hope they don't do it. Plain and simple. I don't know what's happening around Zaporozhye nuclear plant. I just hope they don't do it. They have enough decency, enough humanity left in them not to do it. Wanda, thank you so much for the support. I try never to miss your message. Are the people of Rostov see Grommet Purge? What's a Grommet? Oh, safe Grommet Purge. I'm not sure what's safe Grommet Purge is. People in Rostov really surprised me. So, you know, I'm from Rostov originally, you know that. And what happened was I called quite a few people and I asked them about Wagner. Turns out everyone saw one thing. Well, Wagner did not do anything stupid or atrocious. They just moved in to Rostov. They captured Rostov. And basically, they didn't move. They held positions. They were fully armed, I think ready to go, ready to move, ready to fight, ready to kill, but they didn't do anything. They were just standing there. And then Rostov people, the locals, they started coming to them on Saturday, Saturday morning, and the Wagner people were friendly, and they started breaking conversations, and asking, "Are you hungry?" And the people were like, "Well, we could eat." And then people from Rostov were starting bringing them food, and that's on video. That's true. And I called one of people I know in Rostov, and she told me, a friend of mine did that. She went shopping at the bazaar Saturday morning, shopping day. And then she came and spoke to a couple Wagner guys. And I told her, well, your friend should have asked what criminal court article that they were imprisoned according to. And she's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, what do I mean? What do you mean?" Before feeding them, she should have asked what they did to land themselves in prison. Were they just thieves, regular thieves, petty thieves, or perhaps murderers, or perhaps child molesters, or perhaps cannibals, or rapists? And she didn't know what I was talking about. So it turns out that people of Rostov, a lot of them, did not know that ЧВК Wagner troops were criminals. They had no clue that they were taken from prisons by Yevgeny Prigozhin, and they were pardoned. They had no clue. I couldn't believe. The girl I was talking to, she couldn't believe. She was in awe. She's like, "What? I wish we knew." And I was in awe. How can you not know these things? Okay, that's what I think of people of Rostov. I don't even know how to summarize people of Rostov anymore. What is wrong with them? What is up with them? I don't know. Sorry. Elsha, thank you. Of course, it's not important, but the name of Dutch city is Den Haag. In Russia, we'll say Gaga, Haag. And inside Russia, maybe you can help. YouTubers from within Russia did not receive money from YouTube. Well, Anne, couple questions to you. First of all, I did not hear of this problem, okay? And second, how can I help the people who did not receive money from YouTube that are within Russia? And the second, they probably should move their accounts out of Russia, because if they receive money in Russia, you know what happens? They pay taxes to Russian government. Therefore, they support the war with Ukraine. So it's a bitter feeling, I don't know how to help them, and I think they should move out their accounts out of Russia and set up new AdSense accounts and move them to, I don't know, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan. Doesn't matter. There are plenty of options. RW, thank you so much. Pleasure to see you, my friend. Do you believe that Wagner base is being built in Belarus to work for Lukashenko? I saw a quote from Belarusian doctor worried about safety of her daughter, and anti-Lukashenko rebels opposed to their presence. Well, first of all, if I was a doctor, or doesn't matter, was a parent in Belarus, and I saw ЧВК Wagner moving into a place near me, I'd be very afraid for the safety of my daughter. Imagine 20 plus, or I don't know, 15,000 plus rapists, child molesters, murderers, thieves, stationed near your home. How would you feel? I would feel really, really bad. And the doctor is absolutely right. But I don't think that they're going to be... The base is definitely being built, yes. To work for Lukashenko, no. no. Lukashenko provided some temporary refuge for Wagner Group, just for this thing to settle. Wagner Group is dead. Prigozhin, obviously, what he's doing right now, he's been given some time to wrap things up for him, and that's what he's doing in St. Petersburg right now. Okay, he's closing his businesses. He has an empire, business empire there. He's closing everything down, and most likely in a day or two, he will be out of Russia, perhaps for some time in Belarus, perhaps to Africa, most likely. And you got to understand, Wagner is no more. He's leaving his troops behind. They're going to be, like I said in the previous streams, taken care of. Most likely they will be given an opportunity to sign contract with Ministry of Defense. And the ones who don't, they'll come up with some kind of a new law, and those folks will be taken back to prison where they came from. So they're not going to let Wagner operate anymore, because Wagner did a mortal sin. Wagner moved on to Moscow to seize power, to topple Putin. Putin's not going to forget, not going to forgive. Lukashenko's dead man, Prigozhin is also dead man walking, and Wagner's definitely is no more. Just a matter of time. Alexander Gauss, I just want to take that chance. I hope you will read this while I'm reading it, to tell you how great I think that's what you're doing. Thank you so much. I appreciate the words. I do follow and watch exactly 3 Russians. Keep on keeping on. Alexander, thank you so much. Words like that keep me moving, keep me energized, keep me motivated. You definitely can count on me showing up every day to give you the updates on what is happening in Russia. The reason for that is there's a burning fire inside of me. I am hurting as I'm seeing my country is falling apart. My country is being destroyed by a bunch of gangsters. My country has been hijacked, and my life is getting reformatted along with my country. So this definitely, it's personal, okay? I will keep on doing what I'm doing. Thank you so much. Martin van Ruyen, BRICS has summit in South Africa in a few months. August, you're right. We are part of ICC. I don't think anything will happen to Putin there, but what are your thoughts on if anything does happen? Nothing will happen. He will not go there. Mark my words. I think he will not go there. One way or another, due to fear of something happening to him in South Africa, or due to situation in Russia, inside Russia, that's not favorable to him. Or because him no more by the time that BRICS summit happens. Frank in Texas, fantastic to see you. Frank is one of the earliest supporters. My friend, great to see you. Thank you so much, and thanks for the sponsorship to 5 people. Fantastic. Dave Strains, when Humpty Dumpty falls, nobody will be putting him back together. Can't argue with that. VW Bora 26, what are the odds Prigozhin will be assassinated? I'm not sure he's going to be assassinated. There are many ways. Falling out of a window. In Russia, one guy fell out of the window of his basement in the house, and he fell down to death. So different things can happen, Or perhaps he can put on his underwear and die of heart attack or something. There are many ways. Not necessarily that he'll be a car accident, plane accident, numerous ways. But I think that's coming. That's coming. I mean, you don't try to take power from Putin and assume that you're gonna be forgiven and people will forget that. You crazy? Clark Williams, bye-bye. I'll see you tomorrow. Pamela J, howdy, howdy. Paula W, live in Oregon and have had to live in smoke-filled fires. Jonathan Clark says that these folks are the best mods in the entire world, and I totally agree with you. Thank you. And thank you so much. I hope you understand my answer. No hard feelings against the bloggers, but they need to start thinking. Nikki87S, I heard that FSB and mod were fighting over, Ministry of Defense were fighting over who was at fault. Is that true? Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. We're not seeing much, but I feel that from different signals coming from the government, from Ministry of Defense, huge fight. The blame game right now is unbelievable, okay? And I have my own thoughts on that. Tune in to one of the following streams next week, and, I'll put everything in great details. Thank you. Mutant Reef, wow. Thank you so much for coming back, my friend. It's been a long time. One of the earliest supporters. He still remembers the time when we were working around Rostov and Moscow every Saturday, streaming just like nice, interesting places. Mutant, thank you for coming back. Are you aware there are between 5K and 10K Wagner in Africa undermining the French? I am aware that Wagner is in Africa, some of them, not criminals. They're just mercenaries. They've been there for a long time. Wagner was created in 2011 to be sent to Africa and operate in Africa. So I'm not sure if they are undermining the French, and if they do, French need to take care of them, plain and simple, and I think that's Prigozhin is going to join them very soon. He's going to leave all the criminals in Belarus and go and join the mercenaries. Those mercenaries, they're actually former military, most of them. He made them quit military and join Wagner by offering them higher pay. That's not a secret. That was happening, from 2011 to basically 2022. Tea is good. Folks, I love tea so much. No sugar, no lemon, no milk, nothing. I find its taste so delicate, so strong, and so flavorful. It's incredible. Jonathan Clark, thank you. I love Russians, but I hate those who support the current situation. And you know what? That's common sense and logic. And that's also love, because I'm kind of the same way. KG1, how are all Breakfast Club members doing? And what is the refugee situation like right now in Tashkent? Good question. Thank you, friend. Well, the club is growing. Robert Bruce, welcome to Inside Russia. Fantastic to have a new sponsor. KG1. The club is growing. Ukrainians joining. more and more. And I used to advertise heavily all over Tashkent community, not just our club. But now people come through the word of mouth. Friends bring them, family members bring them, and Ukrainians come as well. I did community post yesterday, had a fantastic guy showed up, and he's from Kiev and from Kharkov. We hit it off. He's, he hates the war. He hates what Russians doing in Ukraine, but he doesn't mind, Russians. He has many Russian friends who oppose the war, who have logic and common sense, and I was so glad to see that. He knows quite a few Ukrainians, and he's promised to bring them over. He says that some will not come. They don't want to talk to any Russians, and I understand that. I humbly apologize to them, and I humbly take that their opinion, their decision. Okay, but there are some Ukrainians who are willing to join us, and they're gonna be welcomed with arms wide open. This is what's happening. It's hot in Tashkent. People are slower. They're moving slower. They're living slower. Everything is slower because it's extremely hot. It's like above 40s every day. But other than that, things are well. Like I said, growing. No one is leaving for Russia. I haven't heard many who left. Not too many leave Tashkent. Those who wanted to leave and use Tashkent as a transitional point, they had already they have gone. Okay, they have left. And right now there's those who consider Tashkent like second home. Riviere, 1862. How long before Prigozhin is assassinated? Can't imagine he will walk this earth for a long time. Well, I'm not an oracle. I don't know how long, but I agree with you. I think that I also can't imagine he will walk this earth for a very long time. No. Vladimir Putin does not forgive and does not forget. Remember that. RW, thank you again. Still fondly remember your tours of Rostov. Thank you. Thank you so much. I cringe when I hear Rostov-on-Don in today's news context. Me too. I miss those times. I miss Rostov. I miss Moscow. I loved those cities very much. I can't imagine going back. I can't imagine. I mean, I'd love to go back and just walk around and, visit places, but I can't imagine facing people who support the war. How I'm going to face them in the future? They're not going to change, Anyway, that's a sad story. Thank you, RW. I am Blur. Thank you. If Putin had been planning second official mobilization, how do you think the events of last weekend affected his plan? The events of last weekend have changed everything. And the thing is, he's not planning, he's executing. He has been executing the second mobilization since January 17th. Although it's not an openly public mobilization, it's happening covertly, okay? They have built the tools to mobilize people silently, and they have been doing this. I'm not sure when they're gonna, if they're gonna, let's say, if they announce publicly second mobilization, something so bad must happen that that's going to be the last step. But silent mobilization has been going on. Graham Wilson, thank you. Not been here for a while, but hope you and your family are well. Great stream tonight. Thank you, Graham. Okay, been doing okay. Have yourself some more tea. Much respect from England. And you know what? Thanks for your support. Thanks for the question. And generally, thanks for the English tea. This stuff is the best in the world. Twinings, English breakfast. Some old dude. What do you think of the theory that Prigozhin fell for a trap by MOD and FSB to drive permanent wedge between him and Putin? No, I don't believe that. No. Short answer, I don't believe that. Longer answer will be given in one of the following streams next week. Please keep on tuning in. No comment. Thank you. Today I had visions of you jumping off the OOB pier with a little guy in the headlock. Good memories. Thank you. Blackhead, thank you for gifting 5 sponsorship to people from me and from 5 people. And Frank, same to you for 10 sponsorships. And welcome some old dude. Welcome to Inside Russia. My wife was actually, she overheard me a while ago asking, like, naming you some old dude, and she told me, well, look, this is so rude. Why would you say something like that? I said, well, I'm sorry, that's the name. I didn't call someone some old dude, but that's the name of a person, a supporter and a sponsor now. Some old dude has given sponsorship to 5 people. Thank you so much. I like the name, by the way. Some old dude sounds pretty cool. Kaney, thank you. No message, but your message is so. Not Konstantin's message, but Kaney's. Well, it's not so. That's great. A message from Sweden. Appreciate it, and it's pretty powerful. I hope you liked my message. Thank you. Platon's arm. Thank you. What on earth could have made Prigozhin stop? This is one of the unanswered questions I have. I have my theory, but not sure 100%. And over the weekend, I'd like to post a video. The unanswered questions that I have about this mutiny, okay? Because if at least we ask questions, then we get closer to understanding what's really happened. Stuart McKenzie, thank you. Did Wagner stop because no support from oligarchs? Oligarchs got scared. They flew away different directions. They left Russia. No, I don't think that was it. Jonathan Clark, thank you for gifting 5 sponsorship, 5 new members. I remind everyone, tomorrow I will be doing a private live stream for sponsors and patrons of Inside Russia. That's my way of saying thank you so very much personally to supporters, to members, and to patrons. So please tune in. It's going to be noon Eastern Standard Time. I think it's going to be 6 p.m. London and 5 p.m. London and 9 a.m. Los Angeles. Dennis Hayes, walk proud, walk with a hope in your heart. Thank you so much. Wonderful message. Thank you for the support and thanks for the message. Money is very appreciated, much needed and very appreciated. But the messages, they're priceless. Thank you. Bill Dillo, thank you for gifting 10 people sponsorship. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. $11 a.m. Central and Minnesota. Okay, thanks for clarifying, Jeffrey. Hey, haven't seen of your jokes lately, or I've been just so busy with this mutiny thing, you know. Lorna clarifies, Thomas, you are on a slow mode. Post a message every 3 minutes. Hey, if you are a sponsor of Inside Russia, you can post as often as you want. Northerner, is there an unwritten agenda between Russia, Turkey, and Hungary against Swedish membership in NATO? Well, Russia's pretty obvious position. Turkey, I think Erdogan is bargaining. He bargained something for Finnish membership because at first he opposed both Sweden and Turkey and Finland. So he's all set with Finland. Now he needs to get something in return for allowing Sweden to join NATO. So, and he will. Hungary, can't tell you much. By the way, folks, I played tennis today for the first time in over 2 months. You know, it was okay. Hurt a little bit, but, you know, it's done. Back to the sports. Devil's Clutch, do you think Putin will use prisoners for the military ever again? I think hardly ever prisoners left in Russian prisons because most of them have been killed in Ukraine. Jeffrey S., I've written a ton, but you're busy. I'm sorry. Okay. Jeffrey, I guess I was acknowledging super chats. That's why. Some old dude. Carthago debut salvare. I am an optimist. Okay, point taken. Thank you. Black Ad, thank you so much for gifting another 5 memberships. Wow, we have quite a few new members today. This channel's membership is exploding, by the way. Thanks to you. Ferry Wanderhof, next year Wimbledon. Well, I was given a birthday gift by all folks at the International Tashkent Breakfast Club, and that was a tennis racket. It was a pretty good tennis racket. It's had, not like I care so much about different models, but it's expensive. It's like $200 or $300, $250 or $300. So they chipped in, each one of them, and they bought me a racket. And I made a joke. I said, I made a little speech, and I said, you know, folks, next year, I'm setting a goal. Next year, I'm going to become a professional tennis player, and I'm going to be ranked number 2 at ATP Tour. You know, that's where the world top tennis players are. Because number 1 is really out of reach. It's impossible. But number 2 is reachable. Everyone started laughing, you know. So, yes, next year, Wimbledon. Perhaps as one of those boys who run back and forth and collect the balls. Mikhail, howdy. Here's no hoping to what's next capital of Russia will be St. Petersburg. Has to hoping that the next capital of Russia. Why? What's good about Russian capital becoming St. Petersburg? I basically find it kind of crazy idea. Justice Pathos, thank you. Is this tragedy Golubev missed to inform Russians that West during the coup in Rostov-on-Don used the same actors as in Bucha? Medvedev gone done. I have not heard about Medvedev once. The rumors have it he left Russia for a different country, Turkey or some other country, but I can't prove the rumors wrong or right because I just don't know. No one does. But he hasn't been heard or seen. And is this tragedy Golubev missed to inform that the West during the coup in Rostov used the same actors as in Bucha? I didn't quite understand I think I understand the meaning, but that was very general. Thanks for the support. The Underdog, thank you so very much for your support with no message, but message is Pretty powerful. Thank you. Jessica Daletsky, thank you so much. This is the first time you support the channel, and I appreciate that very much, but you've been a sponsor for quite some time. Us, U.S. mobilized military in the neighborhoods. Be aware, that explains my shoulder. Okay. Thank you so much for informing. Okay. Point taken. Mr. Kaliskin, apparently Medvedev flew to Oman during mutiny. How do you know? I've heard that too. Oman or Turkey. Some say Oman, some say Turkey. But how do you know it's true? KG1. Are Ramzan Kadyrov forces better alternative than Wagner? If you remember my stream, I think that was the first or second stream anyway, I heard that Ramzan Kadyrov said, I'm sending my troops to take care of Wagner in Rostov and to protect Ministry of Defense. And live, I said this, okay, and I said, mark my words. I said that I thought that Kadyrov troops would eventually come to Rostov, but it would take them a very long time. And by the time they show up, you know, everything is over. And they'll say, oh, we were stuck in traffic or something like that. And this is exactly what happened. They showed up way after Wagner left, and they said the official excuse was this: American GPS system brought us to a different location. Mistake by GPS, we came to a different city. Like they don't know where Rostov-on-Don is, you know what I mean? So they showed up when everything was over. And that kind of explains what kind of troops they are. In Russia, they are widely known as, not my opinion, but I'm just quoting other people, tic-tac troops. So, I don't know. Can't really say that if they are an alternative or not. Yes, the GPS, well, it didn't break. It brought them to a wrong direction, or wrong location. Okay, so perhaps it was right, but somehow it messed up locations. Finola, I hear you. Ronnie Robson, love your channel. Great to get your opinion on Inside Russia. Take care. Thank you so much, Ronnie. I appreciate your support and I appreciate your words. Fantastic to have you. Mally Cat, great question. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? I have a plan for myself and my family, but I'm not going to share publicly. But perhaps one day, but not right now. I don't feel safe to say it in public. Kani, thank you. Doesn't Russia use GLONASS rather than GPS? Now let me tell you a story about GLONASS. It happened a long time ago. GLONASS was still in the works, and Russian company that was designing and building GLONASS network had been given lots of money, billions and billions, if not hundreds of billions of rubles, tens of billions of dollars. And they were supposed to show something on one of the deadlines, the major deadline to basically launch of GLONASS. And of course, they had stolen lots of money, and of course, they had nothing ready. And GLONASS didn't work, but they had to show something. So what they did was ingenious. And I know it from the first hands because one of my friends told me. She worked at the company at the time. Basically, they took a GPS module and they put it inside of GLONASS box. Okay, like it was like it was GLONASS. And, they presented it as GLONASS, and it was very well working prototype. And it worked. And everyone was happy. I think Dmitry Medvedev was the president at the time, and it was one of the high caliber of Russian officials were there, and they were happy. And that just gives you an idea how GLONASS works. And yes, everyone, if it's a Russian troops, they're supposed to use GLONASS. Yeah. Kadyrovitsk actually claiming they can't read road signs. Well, that's perhaps true. I don't know. If they say that must be true, you know. RW, thank you so much. And I think we're gonna be wrapping this up as well very soon. Joe James, I don't use self-tanning spray. I don't use anything like that. Malakat, thank you for understanding. Ken, Jamaica, Konstantin, I hear that a nuclear event is in the world. At Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, anything? Like I said earlier today, I haven't heard anything. I pray it's not gonna happen. I hope it's not gonna happen. I hope they have enough decency to humanity left not to let anything like that happen. Okay. Time's up. A very deep question. I don't know. I hope Russians will be able to overcome this cultural illness, вранье. Hard to tell. Well, friends, thank you so much for giving me another chance, for showing up, for being here, for listening, for conversing, for asking great questions, and for supporting. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I would like to invite everyone to finish this stream praying along with me. If you're religious, please do that, and if you're not, please also join me and just wish good vibes, good energy, good to people. That's what we do anyway. So thank you so very much. Let's do that. Today I would like to pray a little different. I'd like to pray in a more general matter, and I'm not gonna call the names that are on the list, but we'll try to God to ask to help those people all at once. Let's do it. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for giving us this day, this work week. Thank you for putting food on our tables and putting roofs over our heads. Please give us wisdom, enough wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads. peaceful and safe, and enough wisdom to raise our children in a matter that when they grow up, they become good people and will make this world a better place. Meanwhile, for now, please keep our children safe and healthy. Dear Lord, please help stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. People of Ukraine have suffered so much, and their sufferings have got to stop as soon as possible. Please reach out and touch the hearts and souls of people responsible and capable of making the decision to stop the bloodshed. So wake them up from the lethargic sleep they've been at. So they wake up and open their eyes and see what they have done. And they will get terrified and make this decision to stop the war. Please help all the Ukrainians who have been affected by this terrible tragedy. Answer their prayers and make their wishes come true. Please send angels to Ukrainian people so the angels keep people away from harm's way. Please help my country assemble the army of your strongest angels, armed with sharpest swords, led by Saint Michael in shining armor, so the angels would come to this earth and get rid of the demons that have hijacked Russia. Please have angels run my country and make it peaceful, loving, loved, respected, and respectful. Dear Lord, please help us all by giving enough wisdom, love, and humanity to those who are responsible for keeping nuclear plants safe. Please send your angels to safeguard the nuclear plants so no bad people get there and do stupid things. Please help everyone who's helping Ukrainians, opening their hearts, wallets, and homes. God bless them. Please help those who are traveling, send them safe travels, and those who are seeking refuge and asylum, please send help their way. Please help the homeless, the jobless, the sick, the depressed, the ones with low self-esteem, the ones who are losing their faith and struggling with their faith, and the ones who are trying to find their place in the world. Please shine your heavenly light upon those people and surround them in your warmth, send your love straight into their hearts so they feel better about themselves. They get up from their knees and they feel like they have a shot at happiness. Dear Lord, please help all the single mothers who are raising children and struggling, trying to make ends meet. Send help their way. And please help us all by giving us peaceful skies, regardless of who we are and where we live. Give us enough wisdom to understand that we need them, the peaceful skies, and we will not do anything to compromise that. Dear Lord, thank you so much for allowing us to come to this community and form this community. Thank you for allowing us to come and pray together every single day. Please help everyone who's praying right now or simply watching us pray. Make their prayers answered and make their wishes come true. Thank you so very much. Dear Lord, I'd like to ask for people who have reached out and asked for your help through our prayers. You know their names and you know their needs better than I do. I am asking you to help all of them Each one of them, please answer their prayers, their thoughts, their needs. Answer, soothe their souls. Help every one of them. And make their lives better. Make their prayers answered, please. Both adults and children. Children who are not feeling well, who are in need of care, and their families. Children of Ukraine, of Russia, and of the entire world. Please help everyone. Thank you so much, dear Lord. Jesus Christ. Amen. Friends, thank you so much for coming and listening to me. This is really a fantastic event every single day. That happens every single day for me. Shows that a lot of people are interested in what I have to say and trust me and respect me. Thank you so much. I love you. You are absolutely awesome and you rock. And I'll be doing my best to bring something interesting and useful to you every single day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Before I sign off, I would like to invite everyone to say along with me the usual, something that I finish every single stream with. Please say it out loud with me. Carthago delende est.